Welcome to the Nonprofit Voice, a podcast series brought to you by NonProfit Pro, the go-to resource for nonprofit management and strategy. In each episode, we're going to sit down with leaders of nonprofit organizations, the people responsible for paving the way for our sector, along with key technology strategy partners who are transforming our industry. Here at the Nonprofit Voice, we'll have refreshing conversations in which we will all learn more about the convergence of nonprofit and technology. Be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website to find more episodes of the Nonprofit Voice. And you can download all of the Nonprofit Voice episodes on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify. We will have all the links down below.
Hi, welcome back to the Nonprofit Voice. I'm Amanda Cole, the new editor-in-chief of NonProfit Pro and host of today's episode, which is supported by Philadelphia Insurance Companies. Learn more at phly.com about their 30 years of providing customized insurance solutions that meet the unique needs of nonprofits and social service organizations. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast. We will be discussing insurance claims management for nonprofits and everything you need to know in order to file a claim. Joining us today are Joy Fennell, Insurance Coordinator and Fleet Clerk for Merakey, and Alyssa Lare, Claims Team Leader for Philadelphia Insurance Companies. Welcome, Joy and Alyssa. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How about you?
Doing all right.
Hi, Amanda. We're doing good.
All right, great. I look forward to hearing your insights today. But before we get rolling, just tell our listeners a little about yourself. Let's start with Joy.
Hello, as she said, my name is Joy Fennell. I'm the Fleet Insurance Coordinator at Merakey, and Merakey is a leading developmental behavioral health and education nonprofit provider that offers a wide range of services for individuals and communities across the country. We are currently in 12 states, and we have over 660 locations and continue to grow every day. Right now we're up to over 50,000 individuals that we're servicing. And I primarily do the fleet and insurance part of our business. We have right now about 780 vehicles that we are in charge of and have to make sure that they are being serviced and running properly for all of our homes. I've been doing the insurance part of the business for about 6 years now, and overall been with Merakey for over 10 years. So that's a little bit about me.
And Alyssa?
My name is Alyssa Lare. I am a team leader in the claims department at Philadelphia Insurance. I started working here in 2016 as a claims assistant and transitioned into my role as a team leader in 2019. I oversee a team of claims assistants in the operations unit of the claims department. My team is at the front line of the claims intake process. We are responsible for initial claim setup and primarily assist with general liability examiners with anything that they may need during the life of the claim.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. Let's begin with a general overview of what types of claims impact nonprofit organizations. Joy, what kind of claims are you most frequently working on at Merakey?
So I mostly work on the automobile accident claims and the property claims, along with some glass loss, which again, it involves the vehicles. We also do have general liability claims, but that is handled by a different department. So my main focus is, accident and property.
Okay, and Alyssa, are there any other types of claims that nonprofits need to be aware of?
Yeah, like Joy mentioned, the bulk of the claims that we receive from nonprofits are collision and property damage, but we also deal with many types of general liability claims. These claims are often related to some type of negligent care, such as improper supervision of staff while an insured is providing some type of community-based service.
Okay, perfect. So now that we understand common claims that nonprofits deal with, let's move into the process of how to actually file a claim. Can you walk us through that on the nonprofit side, Joy?
Sure. So basically what normally would happen is I would receive notification from one of my locations that there's been some sort of accident or a glass loss, and they would send me over a accident form that I then need to make sure it has all the information on it and send it over to Philadelphia Insurance with the proper information, so that they can get the claim filed and we can get it moving. So I make sure that each time I receive the claim that I provide the date of loss, the location at which the accident occurred, and what location it was related to as far as our organization. I include the year, make, model, and VIN number of the vehicle that's involved. A brief description of exactly what happened within, the accident itself, our driver's information, and then a description of the damage to the vehicle, whether it be, if it's just glass, the windshield is broken, or if there's damage from, a motor vehicle accident, the description of where the damage is to our vehicle. If there was anybody injured, we make sure we include their information, name, and if they were our client or if they were one of our employees. And then the contact that the insurance company is going to get in contact with for getting a estimate set up and going over any of the accident details. So I make sure they have a name and a phone number of who the best person at the location where the accident occurred is, so that they can, get in contact with that person to try to make it as seamless as possible for everyone involved. It's usually, for a accident or a glass loss. For property, they're a little bit simpler as far as not as much information is needed. We pretty much just do the date, what type of property claim was involved, whether it be a flood or damage from a tree to a home, just brief description. And again, just including making sure they have a contact name and number for the location, so that the insurance can, examiner can get a hold of the right person to go over the details and get the next steps.
Okay, perfect. And Alyssa, just so our listeners can understand the entire process, what's happening on the carrier side that would be beneficial for nonprofits to know?
So in the claims department, we take claims via phone, fax, online, or through email submissions. We use a document called an accord form to gather all of the necessary information needed to set up the claim. It is always important for the nonprofit to be as detailed as possible during initial setup, so our teams have enough information for our investigation. Once the claim is set up in our system, it is assigned a claim number and takes about 24 to 48 hours to be assigned to a specific examiner that will be handling the claim. And then once it's in the examiner's hands, they will make initial contact with the insured to start the investigation process. If the insured has a specific document or photo that correspond with the claim, they can always attach to their email submission or hang on to those documents until the examiner is assigned, and then they can send it to the examiner directly.
Okay, and do you have any details on, I guess, the nonprofit side of kind of those general liability claims? I know Joy said she didn't really work with them too much, but is there any details that you could give nonprofits to understand more about what goes into those and what information they need to provide for those type of claims?
It's very similar to the auto loss, where, just being as detailed as possible, in the description, making sure you are stating exactly what happened. If there are any witnesses to the accident with their information, contact information for who we can contact at the insured is really important. But for the most part, for those general liability claims, it's similar to those auto claims.
Okay, that works well then. So Joy, what insight can you give us about, in general, what nonprofits should actually look for in a carrier?
I can just say, with my experience with dealing with Philadelphia Insurance, that what I would be looking for is somebody that is able to assign the claims quickly, which is one of the things that I appreciate a lot with our carrier. When I send over a claim, like Alyssa said, within 24 to 48 hours, and it's usually less than 24 hours, that we will have a claim number and an examiner assigned to our claim. So the fact that they are very quick is greatly appreciated. I also like the fact that I usually only deal with 2 different people within the organization that have my claims assigned to them. So they know me, I know them, they know our basically our policy and our coverage and how our coverage works. So I don't have to spend my time explaining to different examiners, oh, this is what we have, this is our deductible. They are very aware of our policy, and that is extremely helpful and seems to save a lot of time. So I think that that's been a great benefit, and that's something that I would definitely look for, is a dedicated team to the organization or to the nonprofit, so that it makes the insured's life a lot easier.
Okay, and then since you said you have 2 dedicated people, if you ever have any questions, like even if it's not a specific claim related question, you can just reach out to those 2 people, and they're really good at answering anything you might have.
Absolutely, yes, they're great customer service wise, and always very quick to respond to any emails or phone calls. So, which is, of course, very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, Alyssa, are there any common questions or maybe frequent issues that you see nonprofits have when it comes to filing claims?
Yes. So one of the most common questions we receive from nonprofits is this covered? Is something covered under their policy? And if you're trying to determine if an incident is covered, you can always reach out to your agent, or we always suggest filing the claim so an examiner can do a proper investigation. There might be some exclusions to your policy that we're not sure of at first glance. So it's always good to submit a claim so we can do a full proper investigation. And something else that nonprofits may not know is that we have the option to open a record-only or incident-only claim. Record-only claims are assigned a claim number, but not an examiner, and a full investigation is not made. So we just put the claim on record in case something comes out of it in the future. But this excludes fatalities, abuse, or assault allegations, or shootings. Those are more severe, so they are assigned an examiner due to their severity, and regardless of if the insured is involved in the claim, we always like to do a proper investigation for those, but we do see those come over as record only sometimes. And then for the incident only, they are very minor accidents. We don't assign a claim number, and it's not technically open in our system. We just have an incident report kept on file in case something comes up. And a nonprofit can always open one of these types of claims by indicating record only or incident only during initial claim submission. And then another big issue that we often see is just not reporting the claim timely. Do not wait. File a claim right away so we can get the proper defense if we need it.
Oh, perfect. I think that's a good spot to end, unless you guys have anything else you want to add.
Nope, that was all.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining me. That does it for today's episode. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a few valuable lessons about insurance claims management. And thanks again so much to our guests who shared their wisdom, Joy and Alyssa. On behalf of NonProfit Pro and Philadelphia Insurance Companies, I'm Amanda Cole, and we will see you on the next episode of the NonProfit Voice.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the NonProfit Voice. You can listen to more episodes of the NonProfit Voice at nonprofitpro.com/podcast/the-nonprofit-voice. And remember, for your convenience, you can stream any and all episodes of the NonProfit Voice on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify.